European and American art in 1750 to 1840. European and American art encompasses two major art movements, which are Neoclassicism and Romanticism. These movements were shaped by social, political, and cultural changes, including the Enlightenment, the French Revolution, and the Industrial Revolution. Let us know what is Neoclassicism. It is the rebirth of the classical style in art and architecture, the revival of classical Greek and Roman styles. So, in simple words, it is the new representation of ancient Greek and Roman style. The emphasis on harmony, proportion, and simplicity is highlighted. It focuses on the reason, order, and morality, and this is the reaction against the excess of Baroque and Rococo styles. Baroque and Rococo styles versus the Neoclassicism only differs in aesthetics, themes, and historical origins. Now let us know the famous neoclassical artists and their artworks. The first one is Jacques Louis David. He was a French painter in the neoclassical style. He is the preeminent painter of the era since he had a lot of contribution in his era. He is known for his precision, dramatic use of light, and meticulous attention to historical and mythological themes, and his artworks played a key role in the political and cultural shifts during the French Revolution and the Napoleonic era. The Death of Socrates by Jacques Louis David in 1782. This painting portrays the last moments of the philosopher Socrates. Squares outlines Socrates in the frame, and a cup of a poison in his hand surrounded by his disappointed disciples. By such composition, Jacques Louis David demonstrates how skeptical Socrates' teaching is in contrast to the reactions of his disciples, where the principles of virtue and martyrdom are exposed. The next one is Oath of Horati by Jacques Louis David in 1784. The three Horati brothers taking an oath before their father fight for Rome against another family, the Curiati. The geometrical shapes in an actual manner to depict the energy and solid union of the two brothers, and the contrasting values of the shades and the brightnesses demonstrate the brothers' will, power, and the woman's emotional responses on the side of the picture emphasize one's sacrifice. The last for Jacques Louis David is The Death of Marat in 1793. The painting describes Marat as a martyr to the revolution and shown lying in a beautiful pose on his deathbed. His helpless and dead-like figure in a bath, with blood on his wound, seems to oppose the seriousness of the features on his face, which shows his commitment on the revolutionary movement. The image serves David's purpose of making Marat a hero and a martyr to the revolutionaries, as well as a propaganda for the revolutionary government. Next is Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres. He is the renowned French neoclassical painter and a student of Jacques Louis David. His artwork is characterized by precision in line, a focus on the human form. His paintings often convey a sense of elegance and idealized beauty, with an emphasis on smooth, almost sculptural surfaces. The first artwork for Ingres is La Grande Odalisque in 1814, portrays a reclining female figure, an idealized vision of an odalisque. The figure's elongated body, especially her curved back and limbs, is hallmark of Ingres' style, emphasizing sensuality over anatomical accuracy. Next one is Joan of Arc at the coronation of Charles VII in 1854. Ingres makes Joan, a woman, into a noble and divine character, focusing on her ability to endorse the French king. This is because artistic representation of Charles VII coronation in 1429 shows Joan in military dress praying before him, giving her symbolic representation both as a spiritual and a hero figure. And the last for Ingres is the Napoleon I on the imperial throne in 1806. The emphasis is on the imperial dignity of Napoleon with all manner of palatial outfit and the attributes of power such as a scepter and the globe. The next one is Antonio Canova, an Italian sculptor widely regarded as one of the greatest artists of the neoclassical period, known for his highly refined and sensual marble sculptures that embody classical ideas of beauty and form, often depicting mythological or historical subjects. His artworks also characterized by their smooth, almost lifelike surfaces and their emphasis on the human body's grace and proportions. So most of Antonio Canova's artworks are sculptures. The first one is Cupid and Psyche in 1793. A sculpture of Cupid waking Psyche with a kiss is an interesting representation of love, conquering obstacles, time apart, and such like. Especially the figure's outlines and the expression reported an elegant and balanced beauty, as well as divine love. Next is The Three Graces by Antonio Canova in 1817, with the figures of the three sisters instantly touching each other, supporting each other tenderly, and this invocation creates the sense of togetherness or support. The last one for Canova is the portrait of Amadeus Vajor in 1790, the closest and most accurate attempt of an idealized portrayal of an Italian nobleman in the flesh and in spirit. Now let's go to the neoclassicism in architecture. The characteristics are symmetry, columns, domes, and grand scales. The inspiration of these architectures in neoclassical era is ancient Roman and Greek buildings. British Museum at London in 1750. The British Museum of Arts in London is undoubtedly one of the leading and most extensive museums that has ever been built in the world. The Pantheon at Paris in 1757. The last one for the architectures in neoclassical era is the White House in USA in 1800s.
What is Romanticism? Romanticism in literature was a cultural and intellectual movement that emerged in the late 18th century, characterized by a focus on emotion, individualism, nature, and imagination. It developed as a reaction against the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and the Industrial Revolution's societal impact. Famous Romantic artists. Eugene Delacroix was a French Romantic artist renowned for his dynamic compositions, vivid use of color, and dramatic subject matter. He is often considered one of the greatest painters of the Romantic movement and is celebrated for his ability to convey intense emotion and movement in his works. Caspar David Friedrich was a German Romantic painter, renowned for his evocative landscapes that conveyed themselves of spirituality, introspection, and the sublime. Romanticism in architecture. Romantic architecture is often sought to evoke feelings of nostalgia, mystery, and grandeur. Neoclassicism emerged in the mid-18th century as a reaction against the excess of the Baroque and Rococo styles, drawing inspiration from the art and philosophy of ancient Greece and Rome. This movement emphasized reason, order, and simplicity, reflecting the Enlightenment ideals of rationality and civic virtue. In contrast, Romanticism emerged in the late 18th century as a response to the rationality of the Enlightenment and growing industrialization of Europe. Romantic artists reject strict rules of neoclassicism in favor of exploring the emotional, imaginative, and irrational aspects of human experience.
Thank you for listening. That's all.